India is absolutely there. Values-wise, I think there is a lot of similarity between Israel and India and other Western democracies. The enemies in this front, it's very simple. Radical Islam from one side and ultra-progress woke movement from other side. When these two ideologies combine forces together, penetrating our countries and focusing on the young generation, we see the values of our countries undermined and being demolished without even using a single bullet or something kinetic. Those are the enemies. I think that it's very obvious now that democracies and countries in general are changing dramatically from the inside, and they are not the same as they used to be.
Hi, we're joined by Sergey Asulin, and he is a former Mossad agent, and he's just talked to us about the eighth front, apart from the 7 kinetic fronts that Israel faces. Talk to us about that eighth front threat that you feel has to be tackled more sincerely and severely today than ever before.
Yes. Eighth front, why? Israel fought and still fighting in 7 kinetical fronts, thanks God winning in all of them. The eighth front is the front for truth, is the front for on public perception, on PR, on propaganda, that we understand right now that for long time, the enemies, not just of Israel, not just of Judaism or Zionism, those are the enemies of Western civilization, Western countries, if you want, the enemies of good, of light. Define the war against those countries against us, since they realize that they cannot win against the West and against Israel in kinetical regular war, using social media, using warfare, legal warfare, using economical methods, and penetrating Western civilization and changing this civilization from inside, tackling our values. The idea is to, first of all, realize there is a front like that this is a real threat for Western civilization future, and then to establish a new organization using a different method from the method that we are used to use until now, and to win also in this front.
You've identified India as a part of this Western civilization, although we're not technically Western civilization, but you're saying that being a democracy, India falls part to this. How do you intend to create this organization? And then I'm going to come about who these enemies are that you're referring to.
So India is absolutely there. Values-wise, I think there is a lot of similarity between Israel and India and other Western democracies. The enemies in this front, it's very simple. Radical Islam from one side and ultra-progress woke movement from other side. When these two ideologies, I will say, combine forces together, penetrating our countries and focusing on the young generation, we see the values of our countries undermined and being demolished without even using a single bullet or something kinetic. Those are the enemies. I think that it's very obvious now that democracies and countries in general are changing dramatically from the inside, and they are not the same as they used to be. And this is not something that we desire that it will stay like that. We need to to defend ourselves. So those are the enemies. This is the eighth front. The idea is to, first of all, to define that as a threat.
Where is this threat coming from? For Israel, clearly it's Iran and Palestine, at the movement, the Hamas, the Hezbollah. But for the rest of the civilization that you're talking about, because you're talking about a larger threat,
yes,
a narrative threat, which Israel has completely sort of lost, at least in this phase that we are being able to see, and therefore you think we should. But where is this threat coming off for the rest of the world, apart from Israel?
So it's coming also from countries like Qatar, from in India case, I think Pakistan, and using the same ideology and the same methods. This is something that in any democracy you will see the radical Islam and you will see this left movement, progress movement, acting together to change and to create chaos in our countries.
Okay, in the interest of time, quickly, if you can tell us what you mooted, or rather proposed, some sort of a organization, a combined organization to fight back this eighth front.
Since regular security organizations dealing with classic espionage and security methods cannot really fight in these arenas, because this is topics and issues that more related to politics, to education, to communication in media, very sensitive areas that it will not be appropriate that those organizations will deal with them. The idea is to establish a new organization in Israel, but hopefully it will take place also in other countries, and those organizations will join forces that will focus only on the PR, on the propaganda, on the public perceptions, on narratives, focusing in education, focusing in social media. That's the plan. This is how we want to start with that.
My last question to you, because I don't want to, I have a former Mossad agent here with me, so I can't help but talk about the intel failure that allowed October 7th to happen. Are we any closer to finding out the gaps?
I will say something that maybe will sound weird, but there was no intel failure. There was tons of information, tons of intelligence. I think the gap was how you analyze and what you do with the information and the intelligence that we received. Obviously, was a huge gap over there. We didn't react as we supposed to react to the intelligence and to the information that we received. And this is how, unfortunately, October 7th came. But in a perspective of 2.5 years after, we see how we changed the situation in all the Middle East, Iran, Hezbollah, Lebanon, Iraq, Yemen, our enemies that initiate October 7th to demolish Israel and to destroy Israel are not in the same place that they've been, and the situation is very different right now.
Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If they had a nuclear weapon,
The old rules are breaking. Alliances are shifting.
Apologize again to the victims of the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
Wars are redrawing maps. Oil routes can shake economies overnight. One election in America can impact markets in Mumbai.
no tax on tips.
One move by China can alter the balance in Asia. One conflict in West Asia can hit every Indian household. This is no longer a distant story. This is our story. Your story. Because for the first time in decades, India is not watching from the sidelines. India is rising. India is negotiating. India is balancing rivals. India is building military strength. India is shaping trade routes. India is becoming central to the new global order. And yet, most global news is still told through someone else's lens. Washington's lens, Beijing's lens, London's lens. But where is India's lens? Where is the platform that explains the world from our perspective? Welcome to India's Axis, a new destination for geopolitics, strategy and power seen through India's eyes. From Neighborhood Watch to the biggest global stories that matter to you. Why tensions in the Taiwan Strait matter to India. How one move by China can affect India's security. What turmoil in Pakistan means for regional stability. How Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bhutan shape India's neighborhood. Why oil choke points can hit your wallet. How wars abroad can reshape India's security. This is not noise. This is not shouting. This is not recycled headlines. This is sharp, intelligent storytelling. Daily explainers, war room analysis, strategic conversations. Because news is everywhere, but perspective is rare, and in the age of confusion, clarity is power. Axis is for the audience that wants more than headlines. The axis of global power is shifting. India is at the center of that shift. It's time the world was explained accordingly. to understand the world through India's strategic lens. Subscribe now.